People say I talk about some weird stuff, some far out stuff. But how about that chair that you're sitting in isn't solid? How weird is that? This reality is nothing like we think it is.
When I saw what Icke is doing, I was a bit jealous on him. Wow, look at what this guy's doing.
I don't know if anybody else could do it but him, actually.
We are in a period now where speaking your truth is not just important, it's utterly crucial to where humanity goes from here. The world needs renegades, and it needs them now.
Hello, everybody. I'm in a hotel room in London this week, where we're about to have premiere of the movie Renegade. I was in Manchester a couple of days ago, had a great launch there. The film was met with incredible enthusiasm and support, and it was a version of the film that I'd not seen before. I'd seen one version because I had nothing to do with the editing, and this one was different and even better. So I was very pleased with it. And going on from here to Los Angeles and then New York, and then eventually on to Amsterdam. And the movie is available to see on June the 4th. Details on davidicke.com. Now, being in London, there's been a protest here for some little while now by a group calling itself Extinction Rebellion, where they've been closing streets and occupying kind of areas like Parliament Square, demanding that changes be made to meet what they call the challenge of climate change. And it's a bit of a head shaker for me because I've been pointing out for a long time that this climate change hoax is just that. It's a hoax. It's a no problem reaction solution situation where you present through lies, manipulation, and suppressing alternative information the problem. In this case, human activity is causing the climate to change and we're all going to die. And then you offer the solution. And I pointed out a long time ago what that solution was planned to be. And it was centralization of power, an authoritarian centralization of power globally to impose lifestyles and changes on the population to save the planet. And the planet doesn't need saving. It will save itself if necessary. But of course, the demonization is focused upon carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is, of course, what we breathe out. It's what plants breathe in, and without carbon dioxide, we'd all be dead, because there'd be no plant life for a start. Thus, food. And so they're demonizing this, what some genuine intelligent scientists call the gas of life, to transform human society, both technologically and in terms of the structure of control. And this has been programmed into young people from the time they enter the school system. And this now has been going on for again a long time, this indoctrination, this programming. And we're now seeing the outcome of that in overwhelmingly young people, but certainly not all, who are protesting and demanding that basically freedom is taken away and control is centralized, power is centralized to save the world because of the way they've been programmed to believe the world needs saving. And of course, they do no research outside of the program, otherwise, they'd see they're being had. So now we have a situation where 98% of what they call greenhouse gases that hold heat in is water vapor and clouds. And yet we are told to be terrified of a tiny fraction of that, which is carbon dioxide. And the vast majority of that carbon dioxide is naturally created. The idea that the human element of carbon dioxide is having this catastrophic effect on the planet is ludicrous. But if you keep repeating a lie, it becomes the perceived truth. And this is what has happened. Keep repeating the lie. And, you know, I've talked to young people, including my own son, Jamie, when he was at school. And not only are you indoctrinated to believe that this climate change bunkum is true, if you're going to pass your exams based on that area, if you like, then you have to tell the official story. So we are in a situation where the young are being absolutely indoctrinated and terrified, some of them, into believing that unless this fantastic transformation of human society happens and the control is massively centralized, then they've got no future. We're seeing people women who are saying we're not going to have children. We like children, but we're not going to have children because we don't want to bring them into a world of devastation by climate change. So this is starting to affect every area of life exactly as it was planned to do. And so now we have these protests shutting streets and what have you, and people who should know better supporting them. I saw a video this week by Jonathan Pye, the comedian, who plays a harassed and indignant news reporter in his videos, and most of them are very good and very perceptive. But this week, I saw one in which he's basically telling the story of how these protests are right and we should listen to them and all that. We shouldn't, because they're nonsense. And not only are we seeing this extinction rebellion, it's always about death. It's all about death. Demanding this centralization of power. And as before I go on with that, I read a very perceptive article this week in which someone was pointing out that the very same people who are protesting in the streets of London are the same people who were protesting against the austerity program of the Theresa May government. How people poor people and working class people were suffering from the austerity policies of the May government. But what they're demanding, the same people, is done to meet the challenge of climate change, will create absolute devastation in terms of austerity among the same poor working class people. Because there's no thought, there's no dots connected, nothing. It's just platitudes and mantras. Repeated, repeated, repeated. So, so anyway, what we're seeing is this demand for this authoritarian world to save the planet. And over in America, you've got the New York Congresswoman, the poster girl of the Soros progressives, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has put forward this so-called Green New Deal, which is just the bloody same. It's a massive program of centralization of power and basically tyranny. Now, it is quite a coincidence that all those years ago, when I was talking about the fact that the climate change hoax is a hoax, that I said that, and this is what they are going to put forward as the solution, and what they're putting forward is that solution. And they are, in my view, sickeningly exploiting a 16-year-old Swedish girl called Greta Thunberg, who is quite demonstrably a puppet and pawn of this billionaire 1% elite, who they are promoting as this voice of the young. Well, she's the voice of the young that bought the lie, but that's as far as it goes. And she's being given massive promotion to read the script of the elite. This is why she turned up at the World Economic Forum in Davos, which is the forum for the billionaire 1% to push their policies on the world. She turns up and makes an impromptu speech to the Bill Gateses and all these multi-billionaires pushing this climate hoax. Of course, Bono was there. Any hoax going on, Bono will be there supporting it. And of course, when you look at the background, it was not impromptu at all. What happened is she turned up. She was put in a seat on the stage in this so-called lunchtime forum with these extraordinarily rich and famous people, and they let her make an impromptu speech. So we're told, but in fact, you look at a video that was made before, and the impromptu speech is just the video. It's all manufactured. And this kid, Greta Thunberg, and she'll have no idea, of course, what she's being used for, is being promoted as this voice of the young that we must all listen to. She turned up in London, of course she did, and like a hero or heroine, whatever the word is you want to use, and it's also transparently obvious what is going on, and we are being pushed into this authoritarian society, which is expressed through the United Nations as programs called Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. And Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 are exactly the programs that are being promoted by Extinction Rebellion and by the Green New Deal. It's just so obvious what's happening. And some of us are pushing back against it and will continue to do so. And of course, as I say many times, the the opinions of those that dominate the microphones, who are allowed to dominate the microphones because they're reading from the song sheet, singing from it, are not the opinions of the general population. You talk to the general population on climate change, think it's a load of rubbish. A lot of people do anyway. You ask them about the whole transgender extremes, and they'll say the same. But they don't get to the microphones. Only the ones saying the accepted thing do. And it's all a psychological program that's going on to control perception, and it is sickening. But they've obviously now reached a point where they're kicking on with this, where they're really pushing this whole thing, and of course they're supported by celebrities, virtue signaling celebrities. There's one in Britain called Dame Emma Thompson, who flew in from America to join this protest in London. And I mean, they are so pathetic, it's unbelievable. Again, they are virtue signaling. Oh, look, I care about the play. Well, so do I. I was a national spokesman for the bloody Green Party. So do I. But I also care about the truth. Unlike Emma Thompson, who's just bought the lie. It's something to watch this, because they are really going to push this now. They already are, but I mean, we've seen nothing yet.
The world needs renegades, and it needs them now.